Hello, Knuckle Vermillion here, and the previous two videos I did was a reaction, response, whatever you want to call it, to Carl King, who did a video called Music is Not a Visual Art. And I've said my things of what I wanted to say, which is that, in which I agree with certain things he said in his video, that music is not a visual art, it's audio art. And yeah, a lot of musicians out there be them instrumentalists, vocalists, or whatever, do tend to get shortchanged, unfortunately. Certain things like that. And then there's things that I disagree with, such as completely ignoring any visual media that a musician gets into, because, well, unfortunately, given how modern society is, the best way for a musician to basically make it is to be a multimedia artist. That is something that Andy Edwards had talked about, and I've also spoke of that as well in a previous video of mine, in one of my face cam videos. But I decided that I would do something interesting, which is that I would check to see who else has talked about this, the whole thing of music is not a visual art and stuff. And I find it oddly curious that the only other person to really speak of this is, I don't know if the last name, like Hunter Ewan or Ellen, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, dude. Normally I'd have a video behind me on this, and I don't know why my tracking keeps having my eyes closed, but whatever. But yeah, there's a TEDx talk, and I don't know how the people running TEDx feels like, although I'm more into Ignite myself, but TEDx, despite what some people may say, does have some interesting presentations that I believe is worth listening to, But yeah, Hunter did his presentation called Music is a Visual Art. And this I found very odd, because how can something that's audio be considered visual? I mean, not discounting or discrediting whatever people with synesthesia. That is a hard word for me to pronounce. But yeah, music as a visual art is a curious TEDx presentation that I don't know what to make of it, so I watched it. Because, like I said, music is something that you hear, and music is something that you feel. That is basically how I see it when it comes to music. And likewise, I also say that music can assist individuals. Although Carl King had said about the idea of visuals assisting the music, at first I was in disagreement, but then after watching Hunter's presentation, it's like, oh, that's an interesting take. I strongly suggest watching it. I'm going to have in the video description a link to the TEDx talk, so this way people can see what I'm actually talking about. And why does my tracking keep having my eyes closed whenever... Weird. Okay, anyways. I should probably reset it after this recording, because I'm going to do another recording after this one. So then, the big thing when it comes to Hunter's presentation is the idea of using visuals to communicate. This is more so the people that Hunter is performing with can understand what he's trying to say, and thus in turn can basically help to communicate to the audience. And for me, this is such a foreign concept, and although I tried to follow along, at the same time I found it difficult. Like, even did presentation involving what was it, Nutcracker Suite, was it? I forgot. I have memory problems. My apologies. But so even if I were to watch this, I'd be in the middle of talking about this, and then like suddenly I'd forget. Should have written that down. But yes, the interesting thing is that a lot of people are able to follow the visual that Hunter presented within his presentation. I try to follow, and I found it very confusing. But I think it's largely because of how I think and how I process the video and how I process. I do notice that I process visuals differently. Part of that is that I am partially colorblind. Yeah, which does hurt when it comes to art, which is also why I love doing art digitally, because I can at least put in the color code of what I want. So even if I don't see it, I know that at least the computer knows what color I want. Which is probably why my shirt design probably might look rather garish to some people. I don't know, it looks pretty good to me. Anyway, but yes, this idea of communicating to others visually about the music, it's a strange concept to me, because like you could show me visual, and that's my phone. Hold on a moment. Okay, that was an unknown number. My apologies for the stop there. But yeah, the whole matter when it comes to visuals, and like a lot of people interpret what they see differently, and while I can imagine some sort of a song going along with when it comes to like rhythm and such, other elements of music I really would not understand, like, because like I try to look at and try to understand what the visuals say, and it just seems so foreign and weird to me. And it's, I don't know, maybe it's because of what I've learned and what I try to apply, and what I also try to learn to improve my own songwriting, since I'm getting back into songwriting and music and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a very unusual concept, but there are people out there who get it. And I think maybe the important thing, the big takeaway, at least for me, is understanding that there's going to be people who look at this and they're just going to get it. It's going to be understandable. It's going to be digestible. And for some people, the visual is necessary to understand the music. Whereas for other people, like myself, music isn't. I mean, visuals isn't. Matter of fact, prior to this recording, I was actually listening to the entire album of Sandcastle Kingdoms. I mean, obviously, it's something that I've referenced in the previous videos in my responses to Carl King. The song "Perfect by Design." Although "Paid in Exposure" is perhaps my personal favorite. Second only being both the Zelda and Undertale fan albums that Nathan Sharp created, aka Nate Wants to Battle. But yeah, for some people, visual is important, but for other people, it isn't. And I don't know, maybe it's just because of how I see things, how I view the world, and how I interpret reality, that I perhaps have a different view. And perhaps why, for me, a lot of this just seems rather like a foreign concept. I do want to dive more into this, but at the same time, I don't feel like this is the right video to do it. But yeah, this is just a video where I just wanted to give my thoughts on that. So with that said, I'm Neko Vermillion, and I thank you for watching. And I'm going to fix the tracking once I stop with this.